How you doing? I'm Chris from Raven Black. I'm going to show you guys my gear today with Gear Masters. We're out on tour with Static X, DevilDriver, Wednesday 13 and Dope. It's been an amazing tour. I think we've had 80% of these shows sell out, which has just been unbelievable. Great rooms, great venues, and we're just happy to be out with these guys. So, my main player on this tour is a Schecter. It's a Schecter Masterworks made in Pasadena. I think these are the Schecter Super Rock pickups. I think that's what they're called. But they're hand wound in Pasadena. And this is like a burl maple cap. I don't believe there's paint on this. What I remember, they stained this and kind of that color came out, but it does have this rock maple like stripes down the neck. And it's a Wenge Bubenga, I think that's how they say it, neck, or the neck wood. And then the rock maple through the neck, swamp ash body on the back. So I use DR strings, 10 to 46. Basically I'm 99% of the time on the bottom pickup, and everything's just wide open. Tone knob, I could probably just deactivate that. I don't use that at all, but pretty much just wide open. And it's got, I think, these open tuners, which I do like. And then I think the guy's name is Takeshi, I believe, the kind of master luthier at Schecter. He built this and signed the back of it, which is cool. I wasn't going to bring this out because I'm afraid to scratch it or damage it at all because it's just such a beautiful guitar, but I said screw it. I'm using it on this one. I'm always in drop G. We have a couple songs in standard, but we're not playing them on this tour, just tight on time. And we do a cover of Marilyn Manson's The Nobodies. It's the only song that we do basically a half step down. It's still in drop D or drop tuning, but basically I don't tune anything. I just switch that on the Kemper. I hit a button and it drops it for me. So I've been with Schecter for like 3 years now. We recorded our first album with Ulrich Wild 3 years ago, and he knows the guys at Schecter very well. So he kind of hooked us up and got a good deal with them. They help us out. I've got a couple guitars from them now for touring, and it's been a great relationship, so very happy with them. So this is a Jackson Soloist USA custom shop, and I believe the guy's name is Mike Frazier that painted it. He's out of LA, and this was painted for a company called Red Dragon Guitars, and we saw this a while ago and just knew this was going to look sick on this tour. And the UVs hit the white kind of skulls and it just pops. So this has been used only a couple times on this tour. It's mainly just a backup right now. But yeah, I just saw that paint job and we had to have it. So it's got a Floyd Rose and then the stock Seymour Duncan pickups. I'm not sure exactly what those are, but it's just whatever comes in the Jackson Soloist from the factory. I play it the same way. Everything's just dimed, tone knob, unnecessary really, and bottom pickup. So I'm using basically just a simple setup of two Kempers. This is a backup on an A/B switch. This is a Shure wireless guitar unit, and then my Furman power conditioner. It's set up to be pretty much as simple as possible. I've got it wired up in the back. They're kind of wired in together and with a MIDI cable, so if one goes out on stage, I can hit an A/B switch, which already has a main out to the speakers, and basically switch it over in like half a second, and the crowd doesn't even notice that one of them went down, which hasn't happened yet. But it's really simple, but the tones, I'm using profiles that I made from a Soldano amp, Diesel Herbert, and Mezzo Boogie DC amp head. I've got probably 300 hours into tweaking the profiles, so I'm really happy with my tone. I've A/B'd these against the real tube amps, and they're spot on. So I use a lot of delays, a deep reverbs on like intro stuff, and then there's certain delays I use in tremolos. Like in our song Seven Sins, I use a tremolo in the clean intro parts. and then the verses have a slapback delay, which is basically set at 100% repeat or 100% playback, but it's 0% repeat, so it only plays the delay one time. So every third note, it's basically overlapping itself, and it sounds really full and lush. But yeah, so I use a lot of reverbs in these. I use the pitch shifter, so some songs are a half step down. That's just, I don't have to tune a guitar, I just click a button and it does it. It's just nice. I've profiled 5 or 6 tube amps, and I use this. Before this, I was using a Mezzo Boogie Mark V. And then we were getting ready to go out on our first tour like 3 years ago with Mushroom Head, and I had this 80-pound tube head and a pedal board that was probably 100 pounds to do everything I wanted to do, and a lot of work to wire everything up. So before that tour, I said, I gotta figure something out. So I switched to a Kemper, and I haven't used anything else since. So I use a Mezzo Boogie 212 vert cab. I love these things. They're light and they have a really tight punch. It's very mid-rangey. I've used Sports Walls before and they get a little flubby in the bottom end, a little woofy sounding. These 212s are sick. They just stay super tight. If you're playing metal, try one of those things out. They're amazing. Thanks for checking out my gear. Raven Black will be on tour this fall again with Static X, DevilDriver, Dope, Wednesday 13. We just released a new song called Risen from the Ashes. We have a 3rd single coming out this year, and hopefully our new album will be released for the next tour.